BTS news. That morning, the sky over Seoul seemed to be hiding a secret. The air, usually buzzing with the sounds of taxis and office chatter, felt quieter in the Mapo district, as if the city itself knew something was being concealed. No one noticed that at exactly 7:30 a.m. Korea Standard Time, two of the biggest names in the world, who had long lived under the spotlight, chose to leave through the back door of their apartment. Jikook wore a plain black hoodie, his face covered with a mask and cap, nearly invisible as he slipped through the quiet rhythm of Seoul's morning. Walking beside him, Jimin wore a loose white shirt, occasionally touching Jungkook's arm to make sure they stayed close. There were no managers, no HYBE staff, just the two of them, a taxi that wasn't booked through any official app, and a direction that wasn't on any official BTS schedule. Their first destination wasn't new. On the contrary, it was a studio they had discovered years ago in the early BTS days, tucked away in Yeonnam-dong. It now belonged to an independent producer who once helped them record secret demo songs before the Proof era. Its entrance was hidden behind a flower shop and could only be unlocked with an analog key. The moment they stepped inside, silence embraced them. That narrow room, smelling of old wood, was a space where no one could interrupt. Jimin placed his bag down, opened his laptop, and immediately connected a vintage mic he had personally maintained. Jungkook, wordless, opened a folder labeled Moonset Project Eclipse, Hidden Chapter. What they were working on that morning wasn't just a song. It was a story, a new chapter that couldn't fit into HYBE's official catalog. They wrote with brutal honesty, recorded with raw voices, sometimes stopping to laugh or just sit in silence. The lyrics weren't about love or loss, but about something they had never been allowed to say on stage, a bond with no name. "I can still hear your voice, even when we're silent," Jungkook murmured as he re-recorded the bridge with a hoarse voice. Jimin smiled, briefly touched his hand, and returned to his seat. "If this song leaks, we're done," he whispered. "But if we don't release it, we'll never be at peace." They looked at each other for a long time. No yes, no, just a song, playing, being edited, sung again and again until 11:30 a.m. They didn't go home right after the studio session. Instead, the same taxi took them to a small art gallery in Mangwon-dong that wasn't open to the public that day. Its owner was a friend of Jimin's from his art school days, an eccentric artist who cared nothing about fame. There, on the main wall, hung a large painting dominated by dark blue and soft red. Its title, Even If No One Sees. Jimin stood in front of the painting for a long time. His eyes seemed to search for something among the strokes. Jungkook stood a few steps behind him, silently taking a photo before approaching. "Why are you quiet?" "Because this feels like us. In a dark place, but still glowing." Jungkook didn't reply. He just lifted his camera and recorded Jimin's face up close. When Jimin noticed, he laughed softly. "Yeah, why? You're beautiful when you're serious," Jungkook said. Before quickly lowering his gaze as usual, they left the gallery in silence, storing that visual as a future reference for their song cover. Their next stop was far from ordinary, a tiny home-style diner owned by an old woman who used to care for trainees in the early Big Hit building. The diner had only 5 tables and was open that day for 2 very special guests. "You missed my beef soup, didn't you?" the woman said with a warm smile, welcoming them like her own grandsons to the corner table. They ate while watching old videos from their trainee days, footage stored only in a private hard drive. There was one of Jimin falling asleep in the practice room, and another of Jungkook crying alone in the kitchen after vocal training. "We used to look like lost kids," Jungkook murmured. "And now we're just kids still searching for home," Jimin replied, half joking. After lunch, they went upstairs to the woman's home, not to rest, but to make a video call with 2 producers from Europe. Their names weren't known in Korea, but they had solid reputations in the alternative scene. They talked about composition, ambient effects, and lyrical structure for a song tentatively titled Hidden Chapter 3, The Unlit Sun. That conversation wasn't recorded, but a quietly running camera captured one screen moment, a lyric folder titled, If the Sun Won't Rise, We'll Light Each Other Up. As the afternoon wore on, they moved again. The car they now rode and didn't have official plates. Their destination, an old dance studio where BTS used to rehearse before debut. The room hadn't been used in years, was thick with dust, and its mirrors cracked. But when music played, Their bodies still remembered how to move. It wasn't the grand choreography of Idol or Mic Drop. Their dance that afternoon was more like contemporary movement, almost like prayer. Jimin danced with his eyes closed, while Jungkook filmed him from different angles. They spoke little, relying on rhythm and gestures. There were no vocals yet, just a beat like a heartbeat. As the sun began to set, Jimin sat on the studio floor, staring at the twilight sky seeping through the cracked window. Do you know when we stopped being the version they wanted? Jungkook sat beside him. Today, right now. Soon after, they vanished from public radar. Their phones went dark, unreachable. But one mysterious account on X, Twitter, appeared, posting a single line that immediately sent ARMY into a frenzy. If the sun won't rise, we'll light each other up. The account had only 17 followers. No name, no bio. But the tone, the rhythm of the writing, and its lyrical nature made ARMY certain. It had to be them. Later that night, according to whispers among underground ARMY communities, a secret live stream would take place, only accessible via a hidden QR code, allegedly buried in the metadata of a rarely played BTS track. What were they planning? Was it an art project? Or a declaration of freedom from a system that had long silenced them? One thing was certain. August 1st, 2025, was no ordinary day. It was the day when two voices, once called idols, chose to speak as humans in no permission, no limits, and perhaps no way back. To 11:47 p.m. Korea Standard Time, Seoul was slowly falling asleep, but armies around the world were entering their most alert state. A QR code of unknown origin began circulating in secret fan communities, first appearing as a glitch on the old SoundCloud version of Euphoria, which mysteriously reactivated after years. Those who managed to scan the code were redirected to an obscure streaming platform. The URL was strange, with no branding. Just a dark screen, a red countdown timer, and one message: no filter. No permission, no hiding. Midnight, live. When the final second ticked away, the screen slowly lit up. A dark room appeared, lit only by a single yellow lamp. No music, just the sound of breathing. Then, the silhouette of two people sitting cross-legged on the floor, dressed in black. Jungkook appeared first, maskless, no special lighting. Just his tired but determined face. "Hi," he said quietly, his voice instantly recognized by millions. "If you're watching this, it means you trust us enough." Jimin slid into frame, sitting very close, their knees touching. He didn't speak for a few seconds, just looked at the camera, eyes glistening. "This isn't a comeback," Jungkook continued. "This isn't promotion. We're not even sure this will stay up for more than a few hours. But we can't stay silent anymore." Jimin took a deep breath and said softly, "We love music, but sometimes loving it hurts. Because we have to pass through too many closed doors and unspoken words." Suddenly, the screen cut to a short clip of their earlier studio session, working on Hidden Chapter. No HYBE logos, no watermarks, just their raw vocals, cracked, emotional, honest. The lyrics cut deep, like notes written in a storm. "We're not secret / we're not shadows / we're the sky you're not allowed to touch."